Hi, grade 8 learners! You are now in your 4th week of learning for the first quarter. I am Teacher Olga and I will be your guide in this learning expedition. Join me as we unravel the world through writing. Be ready with your pen, answer sheet, and learning activity sheet. We have 2 objectives of which you are expected to attain at the end of the lesson. 1. Identify the functions of modals, nouns, and adverbs. And 2. Use modal verbs, nouns, and adverbs appropriately. Learning modal verbs, nouns, and adverbs is fun. When you get to know them, you will realize that they are in your favorite stories, songs, poems, or any reading material. Nouns, modal verbs, and adverbs, just like other parts of speech, are essential in a sentence. We are going to discuss it one by one so you will be able to understand it better. To start with, a noun is a word that names a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. In a sentence, nouns can be used as a subject, direct object, indirect object, or a predicate nominative. A noun is a word that names a person, places, things, and ideas. Example of person, we have sister, mayor, pianist, and children. For places, we have mountain province, city, school, and playground. Example under things, we have your books, your magazines, pencil, and laptop. And for ideas, we have honesty, truth, democracy, and pride. The mayor may run for president this coming election. Our noun in here, which is the mayor, is functioning as a subject because it is the doer of the action. Who may run for president this coming election? It is the mayor. A noun could also be used as a direct object. For example, he could hit the ball. What could he hit? The answer is the ball. Thus, the ball is our direct object in this sentence. Next one is indirect object. For example, the teacher may send the students the book. Indirect object answers the question to whom. So in this sentence, to whom may the teacher send the book? The answer is the students. And lastly, nouns can be used as predicate nominative. For example, she can be the leader of the team. The subject she is being nominated to be the leader of the team. Modals are helping verbs which express the mode or manner of the actions indicated by the main verbs. They express modes such as ability, possibility, probability, permission, obligation, among others. Modal verbs are used when expressing an ability, when asking for permission, making a request, offer, suggestion, when expressing certainty, impossibility, possibility, obligation, and when giving an advice. Here are some lists of modal verbs which we can use. Can, could, may, will, would, ought to, had better, must, might, have to, can't, and should. Now let's use the modal verbs in sentences. For example, I can sing. The modal in here is can, which expresses ability, meaning to say the subject of the sentence, which is I, has the ability to sing. The next modal is may, which is used when asking permission.
For example, may I borrow your book? We can also use can and could when asking permission. However, may and could are more polite when asking permission. Next is would. Would is used when making a request. For example, would you please help me? And next, we are going to use will when we are offering something. For example, I will open the door for you. Another one, we have may. May is also used when giving a suggestion. For example, may I help you? Next, we have must. Must expresses certainty. For example, Jane got top marks in her exams. She must be very clever. Modal is we have cannot or can't. It expresses impossibility. For example, we have in here a conversation between Pedro and Maria. Pedro says, "There's someone at the door. I think he is Bill." To which Maria replied, "He can't be Bill. He is in Baguio City." Next modal verbs, we have may, might, and could. These are used when expressing possibility. For example, we have a conversation between A and B. A. Eve is not in her room. Where is she? B. She may be in the garden. She might be in the garden. She could be in the garden. Another modal verb is must. It expresses an obligation. For example, in sepak takraw, you must not touch the ball with your hands. We also have to, which expresses obligation. Students don't have to wear their uniform on Fridays. Lastly, we have should. Should is used when giving an advice. For example, A. I have a toothache. What should I do? B replied, you should go to the dentist. Here are some things that you should remember when using modals. Number 1. A modal does not change according to the number or person of the subject. Examples: he can learn, they can learn, I can learn, you can learn. Now, let us try to look at the subjects. He can learn, the subject is he, I can learn, the subject is I, they can learn, the subject is they, and you can learn, the subject is you. Whether singular or plural, the word can does not change. Number 2. A modal is always used with a verb in its basic form. The modal takes the tense while the main verb remains in its dictionary form. Examples: I can run, I could run, I may run, I might run. So if you're going to take a look at the examples, our main verb is run. Even if we are going to change the word can or the modal can into past tense, it will become could. The word run still remains in its dictionary form. I may run, it will become I might run if it will be changed into past tense. The run does not change. Number 3. Modals can be used alone in response to a question. Examples: can you sing? I can. Will you sing? I will. Number 4. Modals, when joined with not to form a negative, can be contracted. Examples: I cannot run. If we're going to contract it, it will become I can't run. Another example: I will not run. It will become I won't run.
An adverb is a word that modifies a verb, an adjective, or another adverb.
An adverb is a word that modifies a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. Let us have some examples for you to understand it better. An adverb modifying a verb. Example, people handle old violins carefully. Carefully is an example of an adverb which modifies the verb handle. Next one, an adverb modifying an adjective. Very old violins can be very expensive. Very is an example of an adverb which modifies old, which is an adjective. Another example, very is an adverb which modifies the word expensive, which again is an adjective. And finally, adverb modifying another adverb. Orchestras almost always include violins. Almost is an example of an adverb modifying always, which is an example of another adverb. Here are 5 types of adverbs. First, adverb of time. Second, adverb of place. Third, adverb of manner. Fourth, adverb of degree. And fifth, we have adverb of frequency. We are going to study them carefully to be able to know when to use each type of adverb. First, we have adverb of time. An adverb of time details when the verb took place. We usually see these adverbs placed at the beginning or end of a sentence. Examples of adverbs we're going to use are never, lately, just, always, recently, during, yet, soon, sometimes, usually, and so far. So for example, so far we have found 12 grammar mistakes. When we use so far, we are telling what has happened until the present point in a situation. Number 2, adverb of place. It tells us more about where the verb took place. The adverbs that we are going to use are here, there, nowhere, everywhere, out, in, above, below, inside, outside, and into. For example, you must not leave your things outside. Where? Outside. Number 3, adverb of manner. It tells us how or in what manner something was carried out. It usually ends in ly. Examples of adverbs are neatly, slowly, quickly, sadly, calmly, politely, loudly, kindly, and lazily. Now let's use it in a sentence. You may speak loudly or calmly. How are you going to speak? Loudly or calmly? Number 4 is adverb of degree. Adverb of degree tells us more about the intensity of the verb in the sentence. They describe how much or to what degree something has happened. The adverb of degree which we are going to use are almost, quite, nearly, to, enough, hardly, simply, and so. Example, can I come to the movies too? And lastly, number 5 is we have adverb of frequency. It explains how often the verb occurs. They are often placed directly before the main verb of a sentence. The verbs that we are going to use are never, always, rarely, sometimes, normally, seldom, usually, and again. Example, I will never leave you.
Now that we are done discussing nouns, modals, and adverbs, I do believe that you can answer all the activities in your learning activity sheet. Here are some points that you should always remember. 1. A noun names a person, a place, a thing, or an idea, and functions in the sentence as a subject, direct object, indirect object, or a predicate nominative. 2. Modal verbs express the mode or manner of the actions indicated by the main verbs. And 3. An adverb is a modifier that describes a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. To sum it all up, your sentences are comprised of noun, verb, adverb, and other parts of speech. Thank you for tuning in, my dear learners. See you again in the next episode, only here at DepEd MPTV.